evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the post-match press conference with Team Nigeria. Just a kind reminder to ensure that your cell phones are silent. With us, we have the head coach for Team Nigeria, Coach Justin Madugu. Coach, congratulations. Can you give us your thoughts on today's game, please?
Thank you and good evening, everybody. Yes, it was a tough game, no doubt about that. Everybody knew it was not going to be an easy game, and at the end of it all, what we desired was to win, and eventually we won. So we're happy that we have won the game and we'll be playing in the finals.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now be taking some questions from the media. Kindly introduce yourself and then proceed with your question. Thank you. We'll start with the lady there.
Good evening, Coach Madugu, Traditional Sports, Splash FM by Nigeria. Congratulations on your win. And I remember in Abeokuta, international friendly against Cameroon, I asked you, is Mission X possible? And you told me Mission X is possible. What is going through your mind right now? How are you feeling like being in the final?
We are happy that we are still on course. We're happy that we're still on course. We like I said, we came here with the ambition to make sure that we win the trophy, and we are still on course. So we're happy that we're still getting it right.
Thank you. This lady here, please.
Coach, congratulations once again. Cecilia Mogbe, Channels Television, Lagos, Nigeria. What was going through your mind when Nigeria conceded that penalties, and what that penalty, that led to 1-1, and what actually necessitated the changes that you made that gave us the 2-1 victory?
Yes, normally you prepare for different situations in the course of the game. When you are leading, what do you do? If it's a draw, we know that a winner must emerge today. So what do you do? If eventually you are leading, what do you also do? We needed to win the match. And when we considered that equalizer, yes, you could see a little bit, the spirit was shaking a little bit, but the girls had to get themselves quickly together and then continue to believe in themselves, trusting that we can still make it. Because we kept telling them, look, a football match is not over until the final whistle. So opportunities will still come our way. Let's keep going, keep giving out our best, and they kept believing in themselves, and they kept doing what we said we needed to do, and eventually we got the winning goal and we won the match.
The lady here, please.
Congratulations, Coach. I'm Aroba from ACL Sports Nigeria. At halftime, we're leading 1-0 with so many missed chances. What's going through your head? Were you saying this Algeria and Botswana game all over again?
We never thought of Botswana or Algeria, because this one is a different game. And naturally, you just pray that when you keep losing opportunities like that in a game, you pray they don't come back to haunt you, because it happens. It happens in the game of football. When you have chances and you don't take your chances, and your opponent will have just one opportunity and they convert that, nobody will remember all the chances you wasted in the course of the game. It's the one that went into the net that counts, and that's what people will hold you for. So yes, it was worrisome that we were losing chances, but the fact that we were getting and creating those chances kept us believing that yes, at least we'll be able to get something, and by the time we score, we will know how to consolidate on that too. So it was a bit nervy that we kept, and it was early in the game too. That was also another factor that can also at some point make the team begin to doubt themselves. When you keep creating chances and you don't convert them, and you begin to run into pressure, there's a tendency that your team can also crack. But they kept going, kept believing in themselves, and eventually it worked out well for us.
Congratulations, big coach. This is Michael here, Nigerian from Lagos. Yes, the massive credit has gone to the girls and the spirited performance. But you, as a coach, you as a person, You've been around the scene, assistant here and there for a while. How does taking this team for the first time to the final, what does it mean to you as an individual?
Well, personally, at personal level, you know, each time you are given an assignment of this magnitude, you want to do your best to ensure that you don't fail in the assignment, because the coaching job is you are hired and fired based on your results. You don't do well, nobody cares. The next thing is you are gone. Even when you do well, you have no guarantees that you can still be there. But for me personally, my own fulfillment is just try to do the best that I can, and then make people happy, win matches, and that's all. I don't think about what will happen tomorrow. I'm more interested in getting myself fulfilled that yes, I have done something, I have contributed something. That is the most important thing for me. Whatever happens tomorrow, it's God that decides what happens to anybody. But for me, we do well, and I'm satisfied that yes, I have contributed something. I'm fulfilled.
Maybe at the back, please.
Good evening, Coach. Congratulations. My name is Biola Suresh, Triple Ladies Match Nigeria. Jennifer Chegini seemed to be limping just when she came off. Is that a concern going into the final? Is she okay?
Yeah, she had a slight knock, and she will need to be assessed by the medical team, and we'll get a report from them to know the extent of the knock she had, which will also determine what will happen between now and the final game.
The lady there, Coach, just say your phones.
Bonsoir, coach, c'est Soledjam, RFM à Dakar, au Sénégal. Félicitations d'abord pour cette qualification. Alors, si on convoque un peu l'histoire, on a vu qu'en 2014-2016, le Nigeria avait éliminé l'Afrique du Sud en demi-finale. En 2018, le Nigeria bat l'Afrique du Sud en finale. Est-ce que, avant d'entamer cette match, vous vous êtes dit que vous avez une ascendance psychologique sur cette équipe d'Afrique du Sud? Et est-ce que c'est ce que vous avez dit à vos joueuses, même si on sait que la première période l'a un peu démontré, parce qu'on a vu une équipe nigérienne beaucoup plus engagée que celle de l'Afrique du Sud?
Thank you. Even at the pre-match press conference, I think some of these stats, South Africa, having not lost a game from as far back as I can't remember the year we were told, and I said, well, records are meant to be broken. Yes, we have met South Africa in the semi-finals of this competition, like you rightly said, 2014, and we equally met them in the finals in 2018. Even in 2010, when they hosted in South Africa, we also played against them in the finals, and we also defeated them. Every game is different, but the fact that it's a semi-final game, and then looking at the opposition with all the rivalry involved, you know, it also generated more pressure on everybody, because you must try as much as possible to ensure that you make your country proud, you win the game. One, it's a semi-final game, there's a rivalry involved in it, and the fact that you also want to win the trophy, and you can't win the trophy without crossing the semi-final to play in the finals. So these were all factors that we had to take note of, and we try to encourage the girls, encourage them, make them believe more in themselves. And like I keep saying, they are very focused. They know the purpose for which we are here. They know why we are here. They are not allowing anything to distract them. They are getting focused, they are remaining focused, and you can see it's also telling in the way they perform on the field of play. Even when things don't go their way, they have a way of just getting themselves together and encouraging each other, motivating each other, and churning out results that we desire.
Sasso Bayona from The Guardian. Congratulations, coach, on your win. I saw you, I was observing you from my seat, and you looked like you were going to blow a gasket during the game. How did you manage to keep yourself calm, to get yourself through the match when you were in very difficult moments? And then the other thing, this is the last game you are going to be playing in Casablanca before you go to Rabat. What would you like to say to the people of Casablanca before you leave? Thank you.
Thank you. Like we said earlier on, it was a very difficult game, and at some point in the course of the match, we started losing grip. We started losing hold, control of the game. And normally, when your team loses control of a game, you get more worried because anything can happen. In those circumstances, we're both frustrated, angry, because we were not doing certain things the way we were supposed to have done them. We were becoming a bit careless at some point, and that became a cause of concern and worry. And normally as a coach, when you see situations like that, it's very frustrating, and anything can happen. We had a goal line clearance as a result of our own mistake and carelessness, which could have also cost us a lot. So it was a very nervy moment for us, but we had to try as much as possible to not let those frustrations, express it and affect the girls too. You must try to encourage them, make them not do those things that you felt were not doing right, so that we can get it better. At a point, we had to call them together, speak to them, make them realize the importance of this game and then what we needed to do to get out of the situation we found ourselves, and then correct those things that we felt we were not doing well. And after a while, they were able to get themselves back, and we became more organized and had at least imposed ourselves to some point in the game. And for the fans in Rabat, Casablanca, honestly, well, we had a 12th man on the field of play that was very vocal, that really gave us their support, and their voices were heard fully. I know the 12th man will also go with us to Rabat. I know the 12th man will go with us to Rabat. For the fans in Casablanca and every staff and everybody that we have worked with here, honestly, we quite appreciate the effort they have all put in to make sure that the competition here went successfully. Everybody has put in his bit. They have done their best to ensure that the competition goes smoothly. And so far, we have not experienced any problem with anybody around here. And we quite appreciate the very friendly environment that we found ourselves. We have made a lot of good friends too from our stay here. And yes, it's the schedule of the competition that we have to leave. But otherwise, if we had a choice, we would have said, let us just stay and finish your meeting here, so that we just finish it up here. But then we have to still go to Rabat to play the final. So it's okay.
Gentlemen in the red, please.
I'm operating my controller, sports catalog from Republic of Ireland. We see South Africa, Nigeria played South Africa in the Olympic qualifier. Likewise, you played them in the semi-final. Is there any improvement in the level of play of Nigeria? Can you compare and contrast what really happened during the Olympic qualifier and what really happened today? And at the same time, what are you going to work on? Because it's inevitable for Nigeria not to be South Africa in the future.
See, sometimes you try to avoid making some comments. Desiree Ellis has been with the South African team from 2014. She has been there for close to 11 years with the team. She has played, this is her 5th WAFCON as a coach with the South African team. And she has gone to the World Cup twice. She has gone to the Olympics with the same team. They normally have a lot of developmental programs around there. They play a lot of tournaments, which gives them the opportunity of testing as many players as possible in their region. To the glory of God, we just took over this job last year, less than a year today, less than 1 year, and we had to prepare this team for WAFCON. So we tried to do as much as possible using the knowledge that we know of the players to try and see how we can put them together, knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, to see how we can make the best of it. Because nobody will want to hear excuses. Nobody will want to hear excuses. So just why not make the best of the opportunity that you have and see how far it takes you. Going forward, certainly if we are given the opportunity to continue with this job, we know a lot of things that we can do to make the Super Falcons far better than what it is today. We can be looking at a standing home-based team that we have for the male team. These are things that we can also look at, so that we try as much as possible to build the foundation of the team more from home, rather than just having players coming in from outside. Yes, they are Nigerians, they deserve to be there, but you need to have a proper structure, a proper developmental structure that will help to expose more players, improve the standard using the local league at home.
Hey, Coach Ali Howard from The Athletic. Coach, that was a tremendously emotional end to the game, and you could see that in the way the players reacted, even the staff, both joy but also pain. Rashidat was in tears. She couldn't even do her post-match interview, right, flash interview. How much of that was the struggle you guys have been through in the game and in the tournament, and how much of it was down to that horrible injury to Gabriela Salgado?
Yes, games like this, like we know, they are very difficult games, and we knew what was at stake, and we knew how the game was also going to end, because everybody needed to bring in her best to ensure that we get a win out of it. And when you set out to achieve something and eventually you succeed in getting that thing, there are emotions, emotional feelings, and everybody is happy that yes, what we set out to do, we have done it. Considering where we're coming from and looking at where South Africa was also coming from. So it really meant a lot to the girls, and most of the celebration you see were more of a celebratory mood of having been satisfied with the result of the game and where we have found ourselves. And it's quite unfortunate that in the course of the game, Gabriela also had an injury. That was also very emotional. You can see even when she was being taken out, even from our own bench, all of us were really expressing our concern over her situation, and we continue to pray that she recovers fully, she gets better, and continue with her career. Because nobody will be happy that you see it could be your own player tomorrow. So if it happens, what do you do? They are all our players. They are all African players. They are all our players. So we must show concern over what happened to her. And we extend our felicitations, and we pray that she recovers and gets better quickly.
Congratulations, Coach. Susan Omopole from Radio 95.3 FM Lagos. Coach, we saw a totally different performance from the Super Falcons, the way they played against Zambia, dominating performance, and then this one totally different, like you mentioned. Second half was even like they were going to lose it. But Coach, would you say your players are overwhelmed? They were overwhelmed with the fact that South Africa were defending champions.
I wouldn't say they were overwhelmed. If they were overwhelmed, they couldn't have kept going. You know, they couldn't have kept going. Sometimes in games, things like that do happen. They happen in football matches. You lose focus, you lose concentration sometimes. You lose certain things in the course of the game. But that they were able to recover quickly, get themselves back, and continue the fight. I think we need to also give them some credit for that, because like I said, yes, there were nervy moments in the course of the game. There were nervy moments, and we didn't do certain things well, and we lost control of the game at some point. But you need to grind out results, irrespective of how you get them sometimes. The most important thing is winning, which we also got. So we'll go back, do a review of everything that happened in the game that will help us to prepare more in the final game. So those chances that we missed early in the game. If we had converted those chances, the nature of the match would have been totally different. The nature of the match would have been different. But that you kept losing opportunities like that, and you know they can come back to haunt you later, especially when the opposition starts imposing themselves and then making more impact. Certainly, it will unsettle you if you have no proper mental attitude and good mental preparation. So I think the girls should be appreciated for handling the situation the way they did.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Congratulations, Coach, you and the girls, for the work you did, for the wonderful match. Everything that happens during a match contributes to the fate of that match. Do you consider that what happened to Salgado contributed to the win of Nigeria? Was it a turning point of the match? Thank you.
Well, I don't know how that, I would say, whether it's impacted positively or negatively, but yes, sometimes when things like that happen, for a while, it could have an effect on the players, especially with what they see, the extent of the injury they saw. But then they will need to get over it as quickly as possible because they still have a job to do. It is after the job that they can now begin to ask questions. What's happening? How is this person? How is this person? So I think it didn't really affect the outcome of the game because they're all professional players and they know that things like that can happen in the course of a game, but you have a job to do. You must go ahead to do your job.
Thank you. We have two final questions, this gentleman and that one.
محمود زيداني من جريدة صوت دراسات في الريفالري. بعد أخذ خطر بالكم عندما سجل منتخب جنوب أفريقيا هدف التعادل في الوقت المبكر من الشوط الثاني، وماذا تتمنوا من المنتخب الذي تتمنونه أن يكون خصمكم في النهائي؟ شكرا.
Well, the team we would like to face in the final is the team that will win and carry the cup. Any team that will win and carry the cup is the team that we want in the finals.
Final question here, please.
Congratulations, Coach. I'm Sherif from DR Sport TV, Dakar, Senegal. I would like to know how you evaluate and assess feminine football. We've seen many editions, and Nigeria has won so many times. So, in your view, how is the level of African feminine football, especially that of the teams that you have seen now in this edition?
We all are aware that there is tremendous improvement and development as far as women football is concerned in Africa. There's a lot of improvement. If you look at some of the results, even in the qualifying stages, the results really showed that there are no longer minnows when it comes to African football as far as the women football is concerned, because some teams they were hitherto regarded as some of the best teams in Africa are not here in this tournament, and they were defeated by teams that were supposedly considered to be like minnows. Even in this tournament, the results of some matches and the performance in some of the matches we have seen and we have witnessed really shows that there's no gap between any top team and any lesser team now. You must earn your results, you must work for it on the field of play to earn whatever result that you desire. There have been very surprising results in the course of the tournament that people never expected, and but that has happened. It shows the progress that has been made as far as women football is concerned in Africa. And I trust and believe that if given more attention compared to what the men also enjoy, I know the sky will be the limit for African teams. And the improvement in the standard is not only reflected in the WAFCON alone. Even in the last World Cup and the last Olympics, yes, we may not have won anything, but the performance was something that was also commendable by all the teams that represented Africa.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Coach, and good luck with the final.
Thank you.